Welcome back to the show, everyone. Special one for you today. Whether you may tune in, you may not tune in, but usually avoid politics for the most part. I do on the channel just because, I think part of the unique brand. I do a few different things differently. One of them is I try to, people who want to escape politics or otherwise just want to learn about tech and stuff can come to the show and enjoy it. However, I thought I would try something different because I think there is a lot going on with crypto and politics today, and some of the candidates out there have had positions, or we can speculate on them, or otherwise different positions, different interesting ways to look at it. So thought I'd have a conversation, and Corey will be joining us in a minute on that, the different views. And again, please keep. We're gonna go through it. We're gonna try it this time. If it goes well, who knows? We may have one every once in a while. But I do want to keep most of the content, most of that clear of politics. I just think crypto and DeFi in particular, seem to be some pretty big implications as far as bags go up or bags go down. Not that you can, threaten the technology if it's sufficiently decentralized and stuff like that. However, other things can be better or worse based on the different regulations and policy and who's able to incentivize one way or another, tax structure, all this different stuff too. So a lot of interesting things float around there. Won't be a long show, probably 30, 40 minutes or so, but I wanted to hit a few different pieces on it. And please keep chat civil. Again, this is not about, every 4 years in the US at least, it's like, okay, this is the end of democracy every time. And it's like, okay, we managed to get through it. We have a strong enough system that we can tolerate different ups and downs, pendulum swings and otherwise. So I do want to keep it as constructive as possible, as objective as possible. I'm sure there'll be some opinions here and there. But I think there's some interesting ways to look at it. And again, just please keep chat as respectful and PG-13ish as possible. And anyways, we'll get into it. The first thing I want to pull up is, before Corey comes in, is, let's see. Actually, I wanted to look at some of the campaign promises too. So we'll start with Trump. Let's see. Actually, let's start with the poll real quick, because then we'll get into each particular candidate. Let's say hi to the chat. Red Squirrel, how's it going, man? Number one. Crypto Elite, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Appreciate you coming by. Yes, awesome chat looks like so far. Archie, welcome. Tupac Shakur, welcome to Tupac there. Steve, what's up, Steve? Hope everyone's having a great week. Hope you're having a great week as well. Should be fun. Happy Friday indeed. Almost forgot it was Friday. It's hopefully weather is good where everyone's at in the world. But anyways, let's get into it. So let me pull up on the screen. So which presidential candidate, did this poll a day or so ago, which presidential candidate winning would be great for crypto? I know there's different ways. Again, I think it's easy to be like, oh, Trump's made these promises at the Bitcoin conference recently. The previous, Biden administration, which looks like it's going to be Kamala now, if that is indeed the nominee. I'm not sure if that's happened or not yet or otherwise, but you could say, okay, the policies haven't been friendly to crypto before. Will that continue? Why wouldn't it? What has changed since then? And of course, RFK, I know he's not able to get a lot of screen time on debates or otherwise right now, but he also, I believe, spoke at the Bitcoin conference and had lots of interesting things, a lot of pro-crypto things to say there too. So somebody in the chat, give me one of these so I can show the poll. Oh, Archie already knew. Archie already knew what I was going to say. Boom, Trump, right there. Okay. Again, anyways, I try not to taint the poll. Try to ask the audience to help with this, but not surprising. Again, only 216 votes. If we had, 1,000 or more, be a little bit more representation too. But so far, at least one of my followers and people who have seen the poll believe Trump would be would be great for crypto. So it's not only which candidate. To me, again, I try to be objective. I want to break it down in a way that isn't this like just holy war type of stuff. To me, there's a few different ways to look at it. There is the candidate who, first of all, what is their track record? What have they been saying? What have they been promising otherwise about it? And then for the incumbent or incumbent VP, for example, in Kamala's case, what was the track record there? What's been happening so far? But also, what has happened, or maybe in the middle of happening, to appease what has turned into a large constituent of voters, crypto people. So that's something I've been hearing a little bit on Twitter too. Is what if Kamala's meeting with crypto leaders and seeing what they want, or what would be good, what would push more people towards their side. I think the most interesting thing around that would be, I saw it somewhere. Somebody's like, "Hey, fire Gary Gensler. Show us you're serious. Don't not if you want crypto people to be on your side." Again, I'm leaving out every other issue. There's immigration. There's culture. There's healthcare. There's taxes. All these other stuff. Putting all that aside, again, just focusing on for crypto in particular. I know some of those have some overlap, but just focusing on that. What if Gary Gensler is fired, next week? And what if there is a promise come out from Kamala and them about, being friendly to crypto in this way or that way? Or I know there was the Biden order about not letting them have it on corporate books or something like that. I can't remember what it was in that area. Correct me if I'm wrong. If anyone in chat knows, feel free to reference or let me know the exact bill or the way it's worded. But what if that was reversed? What if, all these things? People who want votes tend to, especially from big representative groups, which again, crypto has become, super PACs, all that stuff too. And it clearly has been important. There's no way that 2 out of the 3 presidential candidates would be speaking at a Bitcoin conference had they not identified a large group of people who are prospective voters with an issue that they could care about and gain favor with, right? That's just kind of, kind of just makes sense. So there's that side. And again, a minute I'll get into what the exact promises were made. And then, talk about what RFK has said and Kamala and stuff too. But I think, actually, did I have the tweet on that about the Kamala piece? And again, this is not me voting for anyone in particular, or again, I'm trying to be as objective here. I think a lot of stuff I've heard, especially from the, from a Republican ticket or independent from Trump and RFK in particular, have been super pro crypto. So of course, if I'm a one issue voter, or otherwise, I'm going to look at that very seriously and then factor that in with the other, one issue voter primarily, and then other types of positions they hold with things I care about. But I don't think the right way to look at it is crypto is doomed. My personal opinion, crypto is doomed if Kamala wins and all that stuff. And maybe some other things that people care about wouldn't happen or would continue to be down the road of what they don't like or whatever it is, and wouldn't get better in certain ways. But for crypto in particular, again, separating everything else, just looking at the crypto piece, if if the Democrats are able to, again, start doing stuff like this. I like this post. I'll share it in the chat here about what the Dems, Biden and men are still doing. OCC refused to enact the Brian Brooks Fair Access Banking rule for heavily charged banks for dying such service would be clients to political grounds. So there's that. Law enforcement actions against Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, Richard Hart. And otherwise from the SEC stuff, would be great. I added, Richard in there and PulseChain and stuff because we know that's a relevant case too, just to add on to this piece. Without the clear guidance and suing stuff. Again, the Wells notices. Again, you can just add your favorite crypto person who's being unfairly treated by the enforcement agency and stuff. Add them in here too. Fuse Coinbase petition, Wells notices, consensus, Uniswap, Paxos, all this stuff too. I think that one, I thought BUSD was winding down. I thought that was like a thing that came in for that recently. Incorporates DeFi into deal rule. So it's a deal rule piece. This is actually really, really good of all the things that could be better in DeFi and regulation or enforcement. Regulation by enforcement by regulation. One of those. Stuff that shouldn't be happening that is not good for crypto and could be reversed. I believe somewhere in here, let's see. API issues warning the crypto wallet users they may lose their funds. In this case, they don't move them too regular. Really? I didn't come across that one about the the wallet stuff either. Interesting. That sounds, again, ton of just like, what are you talking about? Like, this is not freedom. This is not, it is citizens engaged in peer-to-peer transaction type stuff. Somewhere in here, very elaborate, lots of stuff. Let's see what they've done so far. Yeah, so again, focus on the ETH spot ETF, FIT21. So again, you can say how well you think these things are for. Flawed but symbolic on this one. Where's the one about? I thought they did one about just firing Gary Gensler. I thought somebody was talking about that, like showing people they're serious about it. Anyways, there's ways to show that they're serious about these things. And we got, 3 months until the elections for stuff to happen. So it could be an exciting 3 months for crypto and regulation part. Not that we'll get a lot of stuff going on, but could, when they're fighting over crypto, they're fighting over crypto votes and those organizations and those PACs and people who are voting with, hey, are you gonna make me rich or poor type stuff? That's a powerful thing. Like if you have all the parties fighting over that, we win, right? Like we should win by default because one way or another, whoever gets elected, if they do indeed make the promises that lead and they about crypto doing better for it, and they do get elected, then we can hold them accountable, which I'll get to in a minute. I think it's pretty interesting of the campaign promises and stuff they made it during that time, or at least be like, hey, you said you're going to do this, where's this thing? So let me pull up Perplexity real quick. So if you haven't been using Perplexity instead of Google or otherwise, I came up with a question I wanted to go through as far as presidential promises and stuff too, because let's see, let me go to Trump real quick before I do that. Let's see, I'll type that in. It's a great storyteller post over here. So the speech at the Bitcoin conference, I'll get to comments in just a minute as well. So speech at Bitcoin conference, U.S. become crypto capital of the world, create strategic Bitcoin reserve for U.S. Fire Gary Gensler on day one, view stablecoins as pro-dollar. I think there's actually interesting arguments for that too. That has not just been this, stablecoins are competing. It's like, well, it's USDC. So, I'm pretty sure you can make some compelling arguments. So this is, helping spread the dollar, and we want that to be the premier stable coin currency. It has to be, again, not talking about decentralization, not talking about a lot of stuff right now, just saying stable coins in general, and the government not having a problem with them and not making them hard to do and supporting them. You got USDC, DAI, of course, ones that have different mechanics and stuff with them, but plenty of things that are based on or have, redeemable for $1. It's like having that versus all kinds of other different currencies and stuff, being the most popular, being the most backed, all that. In Operation Choke Point 2.0, that is, I think, what was 1.0? Was that about, I forget what Operation Choke Point 1.0 was about, but 2.0 was, I think, crypto. 1.0 was something else. Help me in the chat if you guys remember that. And bring Bitcoin mining to the US. Something bullish. So that is some of the stuff. Again, if you haven't watched it, the Trump speech was pretty good. Pretty, I guess, insightful. Definitely every few minutes he hit on a new thing, a new promise or otherwise. But it got me thinking too, how much are these promises worth? Any political candidates. So Perplexity, again, this is like, I did a whole AI training series. If you are interested, just go to the channel or go to Go Real DeFi and click on AI. And that'll take you to how to do AI stuff and training and crypto and all the different stuff there, different videos around that. But it got me thinking on Perplexity, if I could just ask it again, it's kind of like AI plus web searching. I use it in place of Google a lot of times to get answers and references and stuff like that. I wanted to go through the promises by presidential candidates and show the percent likelihood they deliver on big campaign promises based on historical data, including percent of delivering on crypto-related campaign promises, such as those made recently by Trump. I had to say Trump and RFK on this because there was some stuff. Actually, let me bring that up real quick too before we hit that. Before we hit into that query, Sasha Hodder does some different tweets on some of the stuff too. Kennedy said he would eliminate all tax on Bitcoin USD conversion. It's pretty interesting too. This will encourage self-custody decentralization because you will still have to pay capital gains tax on Bitcoin held in the ETF. This is the most bullish election we've ever had. It's shaping up to be, when they fight over crypto, crypto people. I don't see how we don't win in some way now that we've been recognized, acknowledged as a voting base, which is just kind of natural, right? Vote with your money type of stuff. So let's do it. Trump RFK based on the promises. Again, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't heard Kamala make any promises or otherwise yet. If so, love to analyze those and take a look at them. But all I've heard was meeting with crypto leaders. Again, will we see a show of, a sign of getting serious about it, getting crypto votes? Fire Gensler now, for example. That's what a lot of people are calling for. Otherwise, just a new regime at the SEC, less regulation. Will that happen? Will that turnover happen naturally when a new president comes in? If so, if not, does Gensler stay when Kamala gets elected? Because it's the same, partially the same administration too. So anyways, TBD on that. I think we still got some time. I'm sure we'll hear some more, but let's see. This, the presidential likelihood of campaign promises. So it breaks down. Okay, so it has breakdown by this. RFK Jr. Let's see. Historical likelihood of delivering on campaign promises. So this was the first election, first term for Trump. So 24% promise made. Again, where these numbers come from, they did some analysis, and a lot of it's subjective to, did a certain thing happen, more or less? How do you determine that? So take them with a grain of salt, but it's just interesting to see a breakdown of the overall, I guess, sentiment, if nothing else on this. So promise kept 24%, compromise 22%. So I guess if you plugged in, so it's got some, tracking promise. Okay, so they actually have some so I guess PolitiFact, they're pulling data from PolitiFact for some of this in the works. So if you combine promise kept, compromise, and in the works, combining those is over 50%. So what was that, 62%? We're through there. So not bad on that. So that's kind of like a positive sentiment for that. So you got Barack Obama, who's not, it doesn't kind of break down. It'd be nice if it was like a Trump versus Kamala one breakdown too. But I wanted to talk more about the different pieces. So historical Trump's first term, 20%, Kamala's 22. So they're estimating here, given track record, likelihood of Trump delivering crypto campaign promises estimated around 24 to 46%, combining. So they combine the kept and compromised ones. And then RFK has made several crypto-related promises, but it's not held in office. No historical data assesses likelihood of delivering on those promises. Again, you could say RFK has got a long shot to win the election in the first place, but it's kind of like the why it's interesting here is being able to, again, get the message out there, have the conversation, show how many people are interested in, how many people are willing to vote with whoever is more pro crypto and pro other related stuff as well. And see that. So I thought I had to break down. I was looking at this before too. If I just ask for, let me just ask for this one and see if it gets a breakdown of other things. So I think will give us some more examples. Before I was looking, it was actually giving a breakdown of like economic promises, this percentage, all that stuff too. For some reason, or tax cuts. I know tax cuts was one of the ones I saw that was like very high percentage of delivering on. So, which makes sense. I could see that happening. So all that to say, I think it's interesting to see, even if the promises happen, doesn't mean there are guarantees. And like I said, if you look at the different ones from Trump's previous term, again, we don't have any hard to get data on RFK because it wasn't elected office. Hard to get data on Kamala because we don't know what the, we could go by Biden stuff, but not quite the same. Again, you could argue, they're same, it's VP, lot of the same stuff going. But it's hard to say if one was president, one wasn't, what would actually happen, and what would the promises even be at the forefront of things. And that was back this previous term. What are the big issues that they'd be talking about now? So, anyways, I think that one's good. Ooh. And well,
there we go. I was here for like 7 minutes. I didn't know if you forgot about your boy. That was my bad.
I just went into when the results out. It's just been bad timing. Otherwise, I would assume
it's all right, brother. How you doing? No, I got here at like 5:02. So
I see it. I see the chat now.
It's all goody. What's up, man? I was listening to what you were saying.
You jump on in, man. Jump on in. I was looking at what do you think is the likelihood of anyone, Trump, Kamala, RFK, otherwise, the promises of if we do get some more promises from anyone else on crypto, of them actually following through.
So I'm going to try to look at this from a bipartisan standpoint. You guys know my affiliation, I'm sure by now. There were only 2 individuals that are running for president that were at the Bitcoin conference and had very heartfelt speeches about Bitcoin. Basically, RFK said he was all in, made a great speech about that. Trump also highlighted his view on cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and a pro-crypto president. Kamala wasn't there. And unfortunately, right now, what we're seeing is a obvious, unfortunately, partisan perspective on advocacy for cryptocurrency and antagonism for cryptocurrency. You have the advocacy groups, which is generally center-right Republicans, independent libertarians that are advocates for cryptocurrency. And then you have Elizabeth Warren, and then you have Kamala Harris that has specifically Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler have shown their disdain for cryptocurrency. I think that it's very important for these candidates, I'm just going to use RFK and Trump here as examples, to follow through with their promises for cryptocurrency, because as a maturing asset class, if you care about legacy by any means, you want to solidify yourself in a immature asset class so that 100 years from now, when this industry is studied, you are known as the crypto president, the one that legitimized this entire industry for the most powerful country at the time. So I think that RFK understands that a lot of his base are crypto bros. I think that's obvious. A lot of at least from an empirical perspective on Twitter, a lot of his advocates are crypto bros and women that are advocates for blockchain and decentralization. On the Republican side, there is a lot of advocacy for cryptocurrency. There's a lot of advocacy for Bitcoin, because I think libertarians and Republicans are kind of cut from the same cloth. The only difference is that libertarians desire a lot less centralized government than Republicans do in a lot of cases. So I do believe that RFK and Trump will stand by their word. Do I think they'll basically solve everything? No. But I would hope to see that Bitcoin Council that I believe Trump highlighted. And I'm not sure exactly, because I didn't watch all of RFK's speech. I watched a little bit of it. But I do believe that RFK is also a big advocate for crypto. Kamala has tried to, but are you going to show up at a Bitcoin conference and they know nothing about crypto, or seen as the party of disdain for blockchain? I don't think that's a very good proposition for the Democratic Party to come in to do that. So I hope that these candidates, whoever wins, whoever is selected, not elected at this point, will be a pro-crypto president, because right now, as you probably have seen, RHMax, we're probably going into a recession. You're seeing rate cuts throughout the board. You're seeing $2 trillion wiped off from the stock market. I believe the NASDAQ is now down 10%, which has basically put it in a correction mode. Not to mention the fact that, shockingly, 4.3% unemployment rate in the United States. A healthy unemployment rate is around 2.5 to 3%. So it is steadily rising. And, this is a long time coming. You've had a quasi-recession for years, constantly printing money. When you're printing money constantly, you're devaluing the dollar, but you're saving face by stock market to boom. So people who don't understand economics think the economy is doing well, but then on the outside they're like, well, why the fuck does a carton of eggs cost this much? Why does a buy 5-layer burrito 15 years ago that was 89 cents cost $5 now? So I do believe we're going into recession, and I don't believe, and it's yet to be seen whether or not crypto will be affected by that and how that'll affect the 4-year cycle as well. But I think that, in my honest opinion, the right wing, crypto would be more. It would be a better cycle, and it'd be more advantageous for cryptocurrency in the United States if a Republican won or RFK. I don't think Kamala would be very. I don't think she'd be for crypto. She is going to be.
Yeah, definitely. We haven't heard anything that be positive. Although, like I said, but either while you're in the green room or before you got here, them fighting over crypto votes, it's got to be a good thing for us. It's got to force. It's got to force. If you got Trump and you got RFK making all these huge things. I mean, if you look at the Trump one, it was strategic Bitcoin reserve, fire Gensler. Stable coins is pro dollar, in choke point, bring Bitcoin mining. All this stuff is like, if you don't have anything to counter that with, then how are you going to get the votes, right? So it's got to be. I would expect. We could speculate, right? We got 3 months to the election. There's got to be something to come out to get some of these crypto votes. Either a more friendly approach, if not like another big promise of like, hey, we're not gonna send your bag. We're not gonna make it harder for your bags to go up, that kind of thing.
And also, this is an important thing to think about too. So right now, I'm just going to give an interval. There's about anywhere between 35 million and 50 million crypto holders in the United States, possibly more. I don't know off the top of my head, but the last time I checked, it was around 50 million. When the bull market starts coming in and retail starts coming in, that number will rise. And the people who come into this market and are able to capitalize on this market will see value in the president that is basically perpetuating their capability to make money in this market. I mean, right now, basically, cryptocurrency is not moving. We're in this quasi bear, bull, nobody fucking knows market. So when you look at cryptocurrency right now, imagine, let's just say Trump or RFK gets in. And Trump fulfills his promise, or at least does half of these things, or RFK does half the things he wants, or just acknowledge the fact that there's a pro-crypto president for the next 4 years so that we don't have to worry about stringent, draconian regulations coming in surrounding cryptocurrency. When this market takes off, hopefully soon, when this market takes off, you will see the advocates of cryptocurrency, because obviously whoever wins the election, if they start saying the market, they're going to use it as a platform, at least in my opinion, and say, see, I helped facilitate this. And then as a domino effect, the people who are making money, who are entering cryptocurrency or pre-existing have been in cryptocurrency, will be more of an advocate for that particular president even more, because one thing most people care about is their pockets. So again, I do believe that Trump and RFK would be the best bet for cryptocurrency moving forward. I believe Kamala is just going to be another offset of Biden. So I don't think the Democratic Party, them most likely keeping Gensler, having Elizabeth Warren's anti-crypto army. That's why I'm hoping John Deaton wins. These are all negative things, and they're all coming out of the Democratic Party. They're not coming out of the Republican Party. If this was 2019, when Donald Trump talked about crypto in a very negative light, I'd say this is a different conversation. But clearly, he's had a change of light. He's got NFTs that he came out with. He obviously holds cryptocurrency. I believe he holds, like, last time I saw Donald Trump's wallet, he holds like a very small amount of PulseChain, if I'm not mistaken. Very small amount of PulseChain.
Well, what do you think too? Just on that of what the candidates have said or otherwise. And again, it's to me, it's got to be something different than what's been happening over the last 4 years. And again, it's not me voting for Kamala, not me voting for anyone. Just in general, right. I love that crypto is an issue that's forcing people to say good things if they want to vote, type of thing. What do you think she could say, or anyone could say yet, that hasn't been already promised or otherwise? We got we've seen Trump's promises, we've seen RFK's. What are we missing now? Is it just this something? Talk about DeFi. Like, is that just? Or do you think we'll get anything from any administration or otherwise, or any candidate that's like, help protect DeFi, fix the tax structure on it more, just kind of like what RFK talked about. What are we missing there?
That's a very good question, because I think that there's a very fine line in DeFi. Because, by the way, do you hear my air conditioning or no?
I didn't know what it was until you said it, but it's okay. It sounds fine.
Okay, so there is a DeFi issue here, because it does challenge the hegemony of the US dollar in some way, because with DeFi, people are not participating in the traditional financial sector, so it's very difficult to track. Now, I know that anonymity is a very important virtue of cryptocurrency. I think the major promise here that's missing in cryptocurrency for all candidates is basically, if I had to take a guess, I would say if the dollar was backed by almost like instead of the gold reserve that we had back 100 years ago or so, where if the dollar is backed by some sort of stable cryptocurrency. Because if the dollar is backed by Bitcoin, it's not a very efficient method of economic not transparency, but economic movement, because Bitcoin moves very, very quickly. The dollar's value does go down, but not nearly as quickly as Bitcoin's value goes up or down. So, and there's going to be a point, in my opinion, where Bitcoin does cap out and it doesn't keep going up and up and up and up. So it begs the question: is the dollar, is it good enough to have Bitcoin as the strategic reserve for the dollar? I don't know, but I do believe that cryptocurrency, if Trump were to announce that he's going to have a laissez-faire perspective, a hands-off perspective on cryptocurrency companies, deregulation, and maybe a 0% capital gains tax on crypto, which is kind of what a lot of these smaller countries are doing to attract investors to move there. Like, I think El Salvador is doing that, Dubai is doing that, I think Puerto Rico did that for a while. If you came out and said, you know what, we're doing a 0% capital gains tax on cryptocurrency, well, that's a very enticing prospect, so that people don't have to move to Puerto Rico or a more crypto-friendly environment. Because right now in capital gains, you're paying long-term, short-term, you're paying, upwards of 20%, sometimes more. So I think that is a major promise. People want what's best for their pockets. And if you're making, let's just say an individual makes for the first time in his life $100,000, and then he's acknowledged the fact that he has to pay or she has to pay $20,000 to $25,000 of that in taxes, that's a considerable sum. But if you're able to keep all of that, like the no tax on tips paradigm that Trump is alluding to, what about if cryptocurrency is seen as, I don't know, tips or some shit like that, or no taxation on cryptocurrency DeFi, if you can prove that you use the DeFi protocol. I think that taxation right now has gone way over the head of inflation, which is the science. You have school tax, you have tax, you have state tax, you could have county tax, you have housing, you have real estate tax. I mean, you have the sales tax. I think that would be a promise that I think a lot of people could get behind.
What do you think from the government's perspective too? Of course they want to, as you mentioned, there's taxes for just about everything, and left, right, center, all that stuff. Let's say maybe the taxes don't go away, but how do they make, where does it make in their best interest for crypto to not slow down, to thrive, for people to switch and start using it? Because you look at the banks and stuff, you want to do a CD, you want to do whatever. The interest rates are, I feel like they've never been lower. They're just, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So, the government, the tax structure, all that is, a lot of it's meant to incentivize, investments, meant to incentivize, hey, we want people housing, right? Businesses, all that stuff, things that make, the country grow and economics and do well and stuff like that. If you're the government, if there's a way to, make crypto easier or incentivize or otherwise, is it just around the tax structure, or is it around like literally just stop slowing it down? What's in their best interest when they're, whether you believe they're working for the people or not, what is in their best interest to be like, okay, we're still going to collect some tax revenue, but we also don't want to kill some of the bank's businesses because, there's support and stuff there. where is the happy medium where they're kind of like, okay, we could do something like this that's good for crypto.
You could take that taxation for, let's just say, capital gains, and enable banks to create CD products or cryptocurrency index fund products, for example, through a bank or some type of other paradigm where that money is allocated for those who invest in cryptocurrency through the traditional financial method. So that's easier for the government to track. It's easier for the government to be able to understand what crypto you have. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be against that, but if you're looking at it from a government standpoint, I think the best thing would be to allocate that capital gains tax that you get from crypto investors and utilize that for those that are utilizing quasi crypto TradFi products through the traditional financial system, whether that's kind of like what Coinbase does. If you hold USDC, you get paid, I don't know how much percent. I think it's like 2 or 3 for the last time. I don't remember to be honest with you. But like, hold on. I don't know who that is. Give me a second. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
No, I'll answer that later. So basically, if you have a cryptocurrency paradigm where you have a function of the government that allocates funds from cryptocurrency investors that make money and then put that towards either an incentive structure, a corporate incentive structure for DeFi companies. I know that's kind of an oxymoron, DeFi companies, but I'm so sorry. I don't know why my phone's on sound. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
There we go. So if there's a DeFi incentive for cryptocurrency companies, let's say you take that and you allocate it towards a structure where if a corporation creates a DeFi product that people are willing to use, and then they can allocate that into a liquidity pool instead of people having to use their own funds for a liquidity pool. So I know it's a big problem with a lot of DeFi projects is that there's a lot of liquidity pools with not enough liquidity for people to sell. So you could do that as well. So that's just me thinking off the top of my head.
Yeah, it seems like one of those, if the biggest threat that the government sees from crypto is taking away from people using the dollar, it seems like a stablecoin approach of supporting that and being like, okay, we don't really care what you do on your DeFi protocols and stuff. We know at the end of the day, most of you at least are going to convert it to dollar, and then you're going to be able to, transfer it and stuff there or use it and all that stuff too. It almost seems like the approach of, okay, again, we're going to stop making, like, one good thing they could do is like stop making it hard to for the companies, stop suing them, all that enforcement or lack of regulation enforcement stuff. And then, hey, you're all using like incentivize using stable coins that again are centralized. They have control of all that stuff too. But also just leave everything else alone. Like, hey,
I agree.
Like, could you imagine? I don't know. Like, I could feel like I can imagine you open your Bank of America portal, your web portal for your bank or whatever it is, and you see, hey, you've made this much amount of interest by staking your USDC or your whatever stablecoin. I could see that portal being there and being like, why are we using the number system that are digits in the computer? Why don't we encourage the use of stable coins because it's backed by the dollar, and it's just we're able to, through DeFi protocols or otherwise, able to pay better yield and stuff on that too. So
yeah, you don't have to be afraid of so for example, a lot of people's 401ks are invested in the stock market. So if your 401k is invested in the stock market and you go into a recession, well, the monetary value of your 401k is going to go down with the stock market. Whereas opposed to the fact that, what does that say? I can't see, Corey. What?
Oh, Russ said Corey keeps hanging up on me.
But imagine your 401k is in the stock market and the stock market plummets after a high, and you look at your 401k and you're nervous. But if USDC or whatever that's backed by the U.S. government, and you're just using that as a 401k, where it's like, okay, this is a stable coin that's guaranteed by the U.S. government. It's also, I think one thing is very, very, very important that we are missing here is insurance. Because cryptocurrency, a lot of people that are scared to get into cryptocurrency, things are not insured. And if they're insured, it's minuscule amounts of, well, not minuscule, but it's the amount of money that's insured is not nearly enough as you would think in a traditional bank.
Everyone in Celsius got their money back, didn't they? Or are they getting countersued right now?
They're getting countersued right now. So
crazy.
I think personally there has to be an insurance structure as well.
Well,
that
I
would
think
be a great idea.
I think balancing, because I mean the reason that the government wants you to invest in companies and all that stuff too through 401k, delayed gratification, like we're all practicing that there, except in this community we've did it in DeFi protocols and other ways. Is you're helping fund and economic growth and help companies money to grow and all that stuff too. So the balance between, hey, we want to support, again, like the tax structure incentivizes economic activity type of stuff. We want to promote, property. We want to promote businesses. And if there's a way to do those things and then fit crypto in there where it makes sense, people, people are free to do it, free from, whatever the being afraid of the lack of insurance or lack of security or lack of whatever it is. There's a way to do that. And again, just tax it, on off ramps, all that stuff. They already have all the tools to do that already.
Right.
And just leave everything else alone. Let the innovation go. Let the businesses grow in the crypto space because it's in the best interest, right? We're creating more tax dollars if you let businesses grow and people thrive. And what do you do with the money, right? Most people pay taxes on it, don't they? So you're getting more tax revenue. Like that's the weird thing is like there's such a good opportunity to make more tax revenue, even if you changed it where it was more favorable or otherwise. If people make more money and crypto businesses make more money and become more successful, like naturally over time, you would think, they would pay more taxes or there would be more tax revenue to collect. But if you hold everything back and you make people too afraid to use it, there's not enough taxes to even be paid type of thing too. So anyways,
I was going to say something really important. Fuck.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's not your fault. There was something to do with cryptocurrency and like not the tax structure, but like not insurance, but like damn it, it'll come back to me. It has to do with blockchain voting. So like right now, a major talking point is elections as opposed to elections. Cheating in elections. We see it in Venezuela, obviously. And there is a legitimate argument to be had about the 2020 election. If the government really wants to garner public trust again, why not just put votes on a very, very secure blockchain that can be tracked, that can be shown, where we're not focused on Dominion machines.
Corey, is that blockchain PulseChain.com? Is that the one you're referring to?
You want to use PulseChain? Go ahead. You want to use PulseChain? Do it. That would fucking cause PulseChain to skyrocket much more than.
Let's effing go. Voting on PulseChain.
No, that would be amazing. I mean, blockchain voting would be an incredible. Cool. I mean, we have decentralized governance structures on layer 1 blockchains already as prototypes. I mean, you see it on PulseChain, you see it on Cardano, you see it on Ethereum, you see it on BNB. I mean, you see it on Phantom. Like these are legitimate voting structures. I mean, you have grant programs that people vote on. So like this is not something that's new. I mean, voting governance structures on layer 1 blockchains have existed for quite some time now. So we already have the prototype, and the government could, obviously either learn from that or perfect on it with industry leaders in this industry. So I think that blockchain voting would be a very, very, very strong incentive structure to win that public trust.
Well, wrapping up here, again, thanks chat for being civil and having some good conversation there, good comments as well. Just want to wrap up on this. I thought an interesting question to ask. Corey, do you think Richard we'll see a tweet from him talking about a political donation of, RFK, of Trump, of any candidate there, Kamala even too, although I can imagine. I'm going to say that it's probably going to be more lined up with Trump's at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But can you see a political donation? Can you see a $5 million or $369,000 perhaps? Can you see that being something he gets involved into?
That's a good question. Knowing Richard and the situation he's in right now, I'm not sure he would want to, because the SEC right now is kind of, partisan one way. So if let's say he gives, and I know the SEC is not supposed to, judge things on the basis of what your political affiliation is, and I don't think they would do that. But, corruption, it is what it is. I don't know. So I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Richard would be more of an advocate on Twitter about and he already has, his political leanings as opposed to, flat out just saying I donated $5 million to, or $100,000 to Trump or RFK or God forbid Kamala. So
I'm gonna search real quick. I wonder if he has tweeted about Trump or anyone.
yeah, after Trump got shot, he started advocating for Trump. So if you go back to July 13th, he's a major advocate in a lot of ways for that.
13th. Okay.
Yeah, so if you go back,
down for a second.
Yeah.
July 13th. Almost there.
Yeah, take your time.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, that was okay. Okay, so he's talking about the he's talking about that, but I was wondering if he had made any like political like.
Oh no!
Hey, but if you want crypto to win, vote for this person. He hasn't seen anything like that yet.
He said something about Trump in regards to voting. I just don't remember what it was. I think I said "fuck yeah, Richard" under it. That's all I remember.
Nice.
So,
here we go. Like if you wish Trump would post on X, there's one. Trump, I would wait to see you the actual nominations before wasting breath. Drew yet.
I just want Richard to stream, man. I really think that right now, the industry, not the industry, the community is not large enough or accepted by the broader crypto community. Like, let's say BNB is, where BNB can stand on its own 2 feet when its founder is literally in prison. I really do believe that Richard does need to come back for some time until we as a community can find a way to reach out, because what I'm seeing, man, it's just the same people talking. Like, even right now, like, viewership on YouTube is down across the board, man. Like like right now on YouTube, what do you have? Like 20 viewers, 25?
I haven't checked YouTube, but total over Twitter, it's just 182.
There you go. So everyone's moving over to Twitter. I've noticed the same thing. Like, most of my streams, I'll have like 11 people on YouTube, and then it'll be like 120 to 200 on Twitter, and it's like, holy shit. So even if he did like a X Spaces on Twitter, I mean, like, it doesn't even have to be a stream. Let us know that you're okay. Like, kind of. But you
never know. We might get a video. We might get another video. It's been
so.
Since Christmas, so it's been 7 months, almost 8 months since we saw a video. So hey, are you? Now that we mention it, it could be can get closer to the time. I wonder if he'll do an election video. There you go. That ties in too. Yeah. Hey, telling everyone to vote for the candidate that
Richard comes out in an Uncle Sam suit.
I can see that, guys. Yeah. Anyways, everyone, that's all we got for you today. Corey, Costa's Crypto Coins. Make sure check out his channel, linked in the description as well. And again, great conversation, man. Good to rip with you on this. Again, we don't do politics too often, but I thought, we tried this time and see it. So everyone have a break the rest of your day, the rest of your week, however long. If you tuned in, if you didn't tune in, I don't blame you. Hopefully you're having a great day out there as well. And anyways, Corey, last words. What you got?
Make sure to subscribe to RHMax's channel. He puts out so much content, a lot more than I think pretty much anybody. I think he got like 2,200 videos now. Jesus Christ. So guys, make sure to subscribe. Yeah, exactly. So make sure to subscribe to RHMax. He's like literally, like, I saw 9.92K. Make sure to subscribe. He's almost at 10K. It's more advantageous.
I've been there for a while, Corey. I'm used to it. I've been at like 9. I've been at like under 10 for a long. You know what? It'll when it happens, it happens.
No, but the thing is that, like, it's more advantageous when our biggest streamers continue to grow. And I noticed that there is a stagnation right now. Like, I see Hexologist has been at 14.8 for God knows how long. Crypto Coffee is still moving up. DCC is moving up because he does other content. I've been stuck at between 11,000 and 15, 11,100 for the last 3 months. I don't,
you're the one that got me looking at views before too, and actually I looked at views recently. I'm almost at 2.5 mil, and I was like,
I'm not close.
The views have been decent. It's just the live attendance for sure has been.
Yeah, that's why I'm just
dropped off the last few months.
That's why I'm more focusing on Twitter now. The ad revenue on Twitter right now is not as good. I'll be honest with you, obviously. But YouTube, right now I don't know. So, but yeah, guys, make sure to subscribe to RHMax. Make sure to get the word out there. Stop fighting on Twitter over dumb shit. People are going to do what they want to do with their money. Yeah. Hope you guys have a great day.
Yep. Have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy the summertime, and Scivive and 5555. We are out.